999. What boy? Yeah, what boy? What boy? The sun is hot, the breeze is slow. I need a ride. Where do I go? Ride go, yeah. That's the name. Island roads will never feel the same. Tap the app, just one click, hopping fast. It's real quick. Ride go. Where do you wanna go? To the beach, to the street, let the island flow. Ride go. The good vibe show, fastest growing ride. Everybody know. Ride go. Where do you wanna go? To the beach, to the street, let the island flow. Ride go. Let the good vibe show, fastest growing ride. Everybody know.
Where do you want to go?
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
Yeah. Right along live. Welcome to the ride. Welcome to Monday. On your mark, get ready, get set. Following Robbie Spice, where everything is super duper nice, beautiful. At the back of me there, earlier today, we just got a new shipment of the new Ride e-bike. So that's together. Yes. What did you guys do this weekend? I know in New York City right now, it is heavy snow. Nor'easter in New York and the tri-state area. I know the last time snow was falling like that, I was there. So I feel it for the folks in New York and the surrounding areas. Good night, Rose. Anybody in New York right now? Give us the status. How bad is it? Is it worse than last month? Not even last month. 3 weeks ago? Sheila, Lord, how you doing? Jennifer, how you doing? Is it bad? Is it as bad as they say? Say it's gonna be like a Russian snow situation, like the kind of snowfall that they see in Russia all the time. Yeah. Oh wow, a lot. I have to tell you guys what you have to do. Remember this, because I preached that the last time and it happened to me. What you need to do is make sure that when it gets extremely cold, or probably right now it's not as cold, but say tomorrow and going onwards, you want to keep your tap just dripping a bit, right? Just dripping, because you want to keep that water flowing. Otherwise, your pipe is going to burst. The pipe is going to clog up, freeze up, and then eventually burst. Happened to me. So take it as a piece of advice. Very bad. Cecilia Peters, wow, around 26 inches. That's a lot. That's a lot of snow. Well, let me tell you guys, it's hot and sunny in Grenada. It's about 80-something degrees all day. It's beautiful. So guys, next time, probably when next JetBlue flying down, just jump on a plane and come down, right? You need some of that sunshine in your life. Oh, it's worse. Oh, wow. It's bad. All right, guys. So today we're going to have a conversation. And, my next guests, both of whom you guys love so much. I see the love. I mean, every time I post a picture of both of my guests, I get, renowned support and accolades. Like, thank you so much for bringing them on, especially these two. Guys, today we're going to be chatting live with your favorite guests, two favorite guests. Mr. Perry himself, and of course, Cam Jones, the man himself.
Yes.
They almost need no introduction. You guys know them so well. Ah, boy. Yes, 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 yes. Kem and Perry, guys, how are you doing? How things?
Well, I'm sure Kem is doing much better than I am. I actually got about a foot last night and another foot and a half this morning. So,
Wow.
I'm good. I'm good on this end, and it's always a pleasure to be on the platform with Perry, to discuss issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Kem, let me tell you this, and I'll say it, full disclosure. So when I called Perry today and I said, Kem is going to come on, he said, make sure you get Kem and you don't run like the last time. He said, make sure Kem don't run like the last time. And he did say that he will take it easy on you today, Kem.
oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah, so, full disclosure, I am very, very, very clear on, he said he will take it easy on you today, Kem. So,
We're family, right, Kem?
Yeah, we're acquaintance.
Oh, I thought you said we were family.
Yeah, well, if you consider it so, no problem, but we're acquaintance. Yeah. It's 2026.
Nice vibes. All right, guys, so let's start. We have an hour to chit chat on a range of topics. So let's chit chat. Perry, let's start with you. Looking at the political climate in Grenada, election is constitutionally due in about a year from now. What's the state of play? What's the political climate as you see it in Grenada right now?
Well, as it is theoretically, the incumbent generally, theoretically, has an edge on the newcomer, the ops. So in this case, theoretically, we would say that NDC has an edge on NNP because they are in office. The defense is always better than the offense. I would say sometimes the offense have to work twice as hard as the one who is defending. But that does not, let NDC off the hook, because NDC, because they are in the driver's seat, will have a lot of explaining to do, especially with allegations of corruption and allegations of incompetence when it comes to many infrastructural projects that have been delayed. So I think they'll have a lot of explaining to do, put it that way. The challenges for NNP is that they have a bunch of newcomers, and NDC, they've been together for a while, so I think they can coordinate. They know each other's tastes, each other's issues, and I think they might be able to coordinate with each other a little better because they've been around each other for a longer time. NNP, they have a curve. They will have to definitely work quickly to try to coordinate and ensure that their messaging is exactly what they want it to be. They have to be extremely careful about saying things on the platform that are not in line with the party's policy, and that messaging definitely has to be controlled. I don't think they've done an excellent job as they should have done in terms of the messaging. I see a lot of opportunities that they can poke a lot of holes into the current administration because, as I said, they're in the driver's seat. So anything that happens under their watch, there is no way they can't take responsibility for it.
Kem?
Well, look, Junior, for me, I believe Grenadians are intelligent. In fact, I go as far as to say we have more clever people out here now in terms of current affairs, politics, the happenings in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. It's different from before when you had to wait for GBN to come on at 7 or MTV at 7:30. You get the information on the go. Many people have, 2 devices, maybe a smartphone, a smartwatch, a tablet, and we can go on, or maybe even a computer at home. I'm saying Grenadians are following what is happening. And for many people, they're more concerned about their standard of living improving. Being more prosperous, getting opportunities. That is what Grenadians are concerned about. Stability, generally speaking. Having a leader that is focused, that is, caring, that understands the plight of the people. That is what people want. A stable hand, somebody who's not always bacchanalish, always confrontational. So Grenadians want that kind of thing. And as Perry said, the NNP in recent times, they have been saying some things on their platforms, and boy, the backlash, they have been getting it really hard. So Grenadians are more concerned about opportunities. Grenadians are more concerned about their standard of living and so on. I think this government, the NDC, they are really focused on that, improving the standard of living of the Grenadian people. Yes, the talk about corruption, that would always come in no matter which government that's in power. It's easy to just go on a platform and say those things. And it's allegation because up to this point, not one government minister or not one senior official in any capacity have been, arrested, charged, nothing in terms of people talk, but no evidence. It's not like in my situation when I presented evidence against Sheldon Scott and a number of other senior government ministers on the NNP time. I put the evidence on the table. So it's easy to say corruption. For example, while it's an intro, when I have a conversation about corruption and I start speaking about NNP, the NNP administration, I can go to call center. The approximately $22.5 million that the government of Grenada never got back. I can go back to the shrimp farm, $52.4 million that the taxpayers lost. I can go back to the chicken farm, approximately 18 point something million dollars. I can go back to Cap Bank, not Core Bank, Cap Bank, and the amount of poor people who lost their money when the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank said, don't give DBOG any license. I can go back to Garden Groups of Company. I can go back to Mount Hartman, Livera, where, 30 million, the amount of millions of dollars that Grenadians, the taxpayers lost. So I can actually point to it and bring evidence and give you data and give you figures and so on. But under the NDC, we are not, most of the people who are talking about allegation, they have not brought forward not one shred of evidence to substantiate the claims that you're making. But let's get it on.
Mm-hmm. So Perry, yeah, you mentioned corruption and talk of corruption. But is NNP or the admin or other political parties actually sinking in and driving in the fact that there are proven corruption in the administration?
Well, I think, the silence of the NDC on many issues of alleged corruption is clear. The NDC has made no attempt to destroy or to challenge those allegations. And that does not look good. That says to me that there may be something in the pestle besides the mortar. And I want to just address a couple of things that Kem had said. He talked about people and caring, and that is one of the issues I believe that Grenadians feels that the current administration, and in particular, the head of the current administration, does not seem to come across as someone who's very caring. Quite to the contrary, many of the people of Grenada seem to believe that the gentleman comes across as cold, callous, and in some respects, downright insensitive, especially, with the recent things we saw happen in Grenada, the murders we're talking about. So it seems to many Grenadians that the gentleman always makes himself available only when there is an opportunity to praise him or to provide some sort of adulation. But in times of crises and in times of difficulties, as we say out here, he becomes ghost. He's never around when situations present themselves that are difficult, that are sensitive, where our Grenadians are concerned, are alarmed, are hurt, and he doesn't come to his people. And one of the the hallmarks of leadership is that a leader is supposed to provide hope in whatever situation, difficult situation that we find ourselves. And it seems like this current administration and its leader does not do a very good job of providing hope to the Grenadian people in times of crises. Then, Kem said something about what people see. Well, I don't think anybody would deny that there's a major problem with the Cliff project, right? A project that was supposed to take a few months to be done in a timely manner has pretty much put on a long pants. This has frustrated, this has angered the Grenadian people. It has inconvenienced the Grenadian people. And then we can go on. I mean, we go on and on. I mean, there's every major infrastructure project has in some way been delayed, money wasted, time, inconvenience. And I think the Grenadian people are not going to forget that. I mean, we look at the closure situation. That was a mess. I don't think the people of St. John's are going to forget the closure situation. We look at the situation in the South St. George. A matter of fact, a friend of mine just went to Grenada 2 days ago. And he said to me, and I don't know how it could be more horrible than it was when I was there over the holidays. He said to me that the situation in Grannans is worse. So I'm trying to figure how that situation could be worse than what I saw over the Christmas holidays. You know, then we can talk about other things around the country. Okay, every infrastructural project is totally in disarray. Then Kem said one thing, and I want to address it before I give him a chance to respond. Kem said that the Grenadian people are smart and wiser. Okay, and I believe they're smart and wise. I agree. They understand more about geopolitics. They look at CNN, they look at international news. And I know the Grenadian people understand that the stance that Grenada took and this current administration took in the United States, Venezuela spat was a horrible stance. It was a diplomatic mess that actually led to some serious consequences for Grenada. Now, I warned about that. And Kem and I spoke about that. And Ken said to me, oh, you were blowing things out of proportion. Obviously, with the consequences we see that descended on Grenada, I definitely was not blowing things out of proportion. Then again, we see a situation in the Northeast constituency, St. George Northeast, where the people of the Northeast have basically been disenfranchised. They voted for a particular MP, Mr. Ron Redhead. And guess what? In his wisdom, the leader of the current administration believed that it was wise to disenfranchise the voters of St. George Northeast. And I want you to understand, and you know, Kem did say that people are very smart. The people of the Northeast are especially smart. These are middle-class people, upper middle-class people. These are teachers, lawyers, doctors. So I don't think that the people of St. George Northeast will take it lightly or lying down when the leader of the current administration did not give the MP that they voted for, who should be in parliament representing their interests. I don't think they will forget that. So Mr. Ron Redhead will have a lot of explaining to do in the upcoming elections. Right. And especially, there's one more thing, let me just wrap it up.
Right.
And especially not confronting corporate businesses in the Northeast that has decimated with pollution the rivers of the Northeast. And that is why I believe there'll be a lot of challenges for Mr. Ron Redhead, especially from a young man who's actually going to be contesting that seat, Mr. Nicholas Macmillan. He is going to give Mr. Ron Redhead a run for his money. And that's all I'm going to say on this.
Okay, Kem?
Right. So, firstly, let me start off with what Perry said last. The Honorable Ron Redhead is in Parliament. He's a member of Parliament. He was elected to be a member of Parliament to represent St. George Northeast. He was never elected to be a Minister of Government. And he's doing a fantastic job as a member of Parliament with his party, who formed the government and who doing a fantastic job, an excellent job in supporting him in every step of the way. So that's a correction, and just kind of setting the record straight. You're elected to be a member of Parliament and not a Minister of Government. You serve as a minister.
Member? Is he there in Parliament? Is he ever there in Parliament?
I mean, you're not in Grenada, so maybe you're not in tune, but no. He is a member of Parliament, elected member of Parliament, and he is representing his constituency. But you were not elected to be a Minister of Government or a cabinet minister.
No, we understand that.
You serve at the behest of the prime minister. All right. So, but he's doing a fantastic job, excellent job. You go to that constituency, man. He's a hero in there. But let me move on. Perry spoke about caring. We have a comforter in chief. I have seen the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell after the passing of Sebastian, after the passing of Miss Hippolyte, and I did extend my deepest condolences to the family and friends of both young women. He was there at that vigil. He showed up at the family place of boarding. He comforted them. He listened to them, and they're offering all the support that they can for both families and many other families. Because at the end of the day, my brother, we make people, meaning that children, we don't make their mind. And society, things happen, things do happen. Not just now, but for many, many years, we have experienced similar things like that. I remember there was a situation where a man went into the police station in Grenville. And you will know about that, with 2 heads. Right? 2 heads, I think that incident took place in Baltazar, somewhere there about Greenwich, the police guy, and somebody else. Right? So we have seen a lot of gruesome things over the many, many, many years. And for anyone to bow as low as to blame a government or to blame a prime minister or to blame a minister or an individual, they're fooling themselves. In 2026, people have more sense than that. We have to unite. We have to come together to heal our community, heal our society, heal our country, work together to see how we can get to the root causes of these things and put things in place to correct it, because legislation alone will not do it. And we all will agree on that. He spoke about caring again. A caring prime minister came into power. He saw 8,715 people using peat latrines that the NNP left as a legacy after 23 years and a half. We had 8,715 people still using peat latrines in Grenada. The Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his administration started the WASH program, giving people a modern bathroom and toilet, painted, tiling done, electricity done, plumbing done, complete, just ready to use. Right? That's a caring prime minister, a caring government. The Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell came into power after COVID-19. A lot of children just couldn't access education online. What did the NDC do? What did the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell did? He partnered with Flow to start the JUMP program, providing free internet service. When I say free, $20, 20 EC, with a free device. So you get a laptop computer, they train you to use the device. So just in case we have the thing down the road, what could happen? But they have internet access. That's a caring government, right? You have 16,000 young people who are getting a free hot meal every day, Monday to Friday, from that hot meal program, free. You have students, young people going to TAMCC and NULO. Their parents had it very difficult to get at $810 to send them there. That's a caring government. You had the minimum wage adjustment, where the simple workers, a security officer under NNP used to get $4 an hour. Now that security officer is getting $9.25 an hour. You have the cooks, the cleaners, the gardeners, the laborers, the housekeepers. I mean, these are the simple people in our society. The Imani trainees, they're getting more as a salary, right? Thanks to the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and the NDC administration. NNP never, not once, adjusted the minimum wage when the law says every 3 years you're supposed to do it to fall in line with the rate of inflation. They never did that. So when you talk about caring, that is where you see caring in real life. The pensioners who were marching in the hot sun for many years, NNP refused to give these pensioners their pension. They got their gratuity and their pension. Not only them, the unestablished workers, almost 6,000 of them unestablished. They were going to work for 40 years, 35 years, and go home with no pension, no gratuity. You know what the NDC did? They started this new pension plan. So they're assured a pension upon retirement. That's a caring government, brother. You had so many people who were acting in the government service for many years who came in and say, hey, we need to give these people security of tenure. That's a caring government, the NDC, the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. And I'm saying all of these, and I can give you a lot more, because, you know, I have my brain is like a dictionary when it comes to what NDC did and deliver for our people, and a caring government has to show it. It's not just talk. And I gave you some examples there. And I'm going to stop here for the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know.
But Perry, when you said that disenfranchised, that the government or the prime minister disenfranchised the people of that constituency, what exactly you meant by that? I want some clarity on what you meant by the disenfranchised of the constituency.
Well, I mean, it's kind of sad. The gentleman was serving in a capacity as part of the government, and then he was removed in that capacity.
But I'd
like to know how much of involvement, how much does that gentleman attend or goes to Parliament to represent the people of St. George North?
Hold on, Perry, hold on. He was not elected, as Kim said.
I'm Junior, you don't have to explain that to me.
Right.
But I'm saying, if you believe that this gentleman would have been serving in a capacity within the government where he can actually impact the lives of the people of the St. George Northeast even more, why would you put him in such a position and then remove him? Don't you see that in some respects as a disenfranchisement of the people of St. George Northeast?
Well,
I would like to address a couple of things.
Tobias Clement was not, if you want to use an example, Tobias Clement, for example, right, under NNP time, remember when NNP got all 15 seats? Tobias Clement was never a minister of government, but he was the member of parliament for St. George Northeast, just as the Honorable Ron Redhead. So what is different here?
It's actually my time right now, but so let me continue. So even if that is the case, Tobias Clement wasn't put as a minister and then removed from being a minister. That's an entirely different situation. And pointing at something that was done in the past to justify what is being done now.
No, but what is wrong? What is wrong?
One second. Pointing at something that was done in the past to justify something that's done now is not going to fly.
No, what is wrong? Because the Honorable...
what is wrong?
No, the most Honorable Deacon Mitchell made it very clear that the Honorable Ron Redhead, he's young in the politics. He has a life after this politics. And that he needs, because here it is, you have to understand the context. Ron's father died as a first thing. So he was pursuing his degree at St. George's University. First thing, his father died. And his son, his son was born with some complication, and we all know, I don't want to go and relitigate that and go into that. Plenty of people chip in and they assisted, and his son is healthy, and everything is nice and dandy, and thank God for that. So he had to endure that period, and then straight away the election was called. So his education saw a serious setback. Ron would be graduating sometime in May with his master's degree in that particular field, having a better foundation. After politics, he has a life after politics. He's young. Ron is about what, 30 or much, 20 something? 20. I don't think he's 30 yet. Is he 30 yet, Junior?
You're saying to us that these two things could not have been done at the same time? Is that what you're saying?
I am not saying that. I am saying here is an opportunity that you should be proud of. You should be happy for him. I don't know what. I am happy
for him, but I'm also concerned and worried for the people of St. George Northeast.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Well, I've said it throughout the conversation, because in some respects, it sends a very, very bad signal to the people of St. George Northeast.
What they not getting though?
Okay.
The playing field was lit. The Lamo playing field lit. Roads done. What the most amount of roads that were built in my belief.
Let's not get into infrastructure, because up to now that flood mitigation has flopped. But we're not going to get into that. Okay, they're still waiting on. Oh, they were Cuban engineers, and oh, we gotta create a plan. Oh, we gotta do a design, and blah 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 blah. That has not even started.
What you talking about?
The flood mitigation project.
What project is that?
Well, you obviously are not familiar with it, so we're not going to get into it.
No, we're not going
to get into it. Look into it, and then we'll talk about it.
No.
Just to address a couple of things.
Respectfully so. You're talking
no,
about
in the interest of time.
Honorable Ron
In
Redhead.
the interest of time, I don't want to get
I am
distracted.
kindly
I want to
asking you
respond.
Hold on, hold
In the
on.
interest of time,
provide me with some evidence that him
I just
being
told you
member
the
of
flood
Parliament
mitigation
and
project
not a mi-
for the
what
people of
is
St. George Norton.
St. George?
Go
Does it
take
talk
a look
St.
at
George?
it.
Isn't that
We're
the
not
tongue
going to
of
waste
St.
time on that. We're not going to waste time on that. So let's get back to me addressing some of the things you said. And you talked about you said a couple of things. And while I applaud the effort of the NDC in doing these things that every government should do, okay, which is normal standard things that government should do. It's nothing extraordinary. But let's talk about caring and concern, okay? And let's talk about caring and concern at a very macro level, a very big level. Like not getting your country involved in a geopolitical spat, not offering up yourself to be an interlocutor in a major geopolitical spat in the Caribbean.
Yeah, hold on. I want to get there. I want to get there, Perry. Hold on.
Dangerous.
I want to get to Venezuela.
Collectively
Right.
affects the people of Grenada.
Right.
That affects each and every individual, and we have seen the consequences. We have seen the visa restrictions. Okay? We have seen the loss of a $50 million industry.
Yeah, Perry, I want to get there. We jump in the gun. We'll get to that.
These are some things that I'm showing you, Junior.
Yeah.
I mean, the gentleman just spoke about concern and care.
Yeah, but
And
no,
I'm
we'll
saying,
get to
I
that.
believe
The Venezuela and the international, that I really want to touch on. But I think before we get there, we want to talk about caring. We want to talk about what's
But that's
happening.
an expression of caring. That is the ultimate expression of caring. The ultimate expression of caring is doing things that is in the best interest collectively of your nation. And this was something, okay, as we have seen, that has had major impact on the lives and the people of Grenada.
Okay,
That
so
US $50 million industry has been on hold. That is bread and butter for the fishermen of Grenada. And that's US $50 million. That's not pennies in Grenada context.
Right. We cannot jump in around, but I want to just.
You're not jumping around. It's all about caring, Junior. I don't see. I'm kind of confused why you think that is jumping around.
No. I want to get there.
Caring.
I want to get there. But I just want to clarify the flood mitigation project. If we're talking about the St. Johns River flood mitigation project, that is in the tongue of St. George, and Peter David is the MP for that particular area.
No, that goes all the way up. That's up in St. George Northeast too. As I said, you guys will have to take a look at it, and then we can have that conversation another time. Let's not waste time on that. We're not going to get distracted with that. Let's talk about caring and concern.
Junior is correcting you. Perry, we good. Junior is correcting you. Nothing is wrong with a correction.
I'm all for correction.
I am humble enough.
I am all for correction.
Or if you correct me. Junior is correcting you.
That project extends into the St. George Northeast. As I said, I don't want to waste time on that.
No.
We're going to talk about that
on
another day.
Audience. And Junior corrected you, and he's correct.
No.
He's correct. The latter part of that project.
Talk about that. Let's not waste time on that.
Hold on, Perry.
Project that is yet to be completed. That little portion of that project, it is actually in the River Road area. So he's correct. Junior is correct to say to you that it is in the Honorable Peter David's constituency. That's the tongue of St. George. So he's correct.
Well,
right.
That's not entirely true. We'll talk about it.
All right.
We'll talk about it another time.
So let's talk about recent, and we're talking about Karen, and we're talking about the current administration and the opposition and what they have been positioned and what they've been doing. Recently, we had two gruesome murders. Right. The Prime Minister made mention of it in Parliament, and the MP afterwards said this, and I want to go through it a little bit and speak about it. This first, I'll play what the.
But Junior, it's not just the MP. She's the
opposition leader.
Yes, the leader of His
Majesty's opposition, Emmeline Pierre. This is what she said. I'll play what the Prime Minister said afterwards. Listen to what she said.
On their behalf, Brothers and sisters, I'm sure that you heard our Prime Minister yesterday in the Parliament, literally blaming a family in pain. As a matter of fact, the wound so raw, the very day of the brutal murdering of this young lady, you blame the family, you blame the community, you blame everybody but yourself. Insensitive. And I ask the question, what kind of leadership do we have in this country? Insensitive. No heart for people. And that is why I say to you, you can count on the new National Party to stand with the people of this country.
Looking at that clip, Perry, I'll ask you first. Are we not playing politics with people's life and family in the time of need, a time of hurt and pain, to make that statement?
I don't think so at all. Actually, what Ms. Emmeline Pierce said does have a lot of merit. I mean, if you look at the clip and you say you're going to play the clip of what the Prime Minister of the current administration said.
Yes.
And again, I think I said it earlier, that leadership, the hallmark of leadership, a leader is supposed to provide, in times of difficulty, hope. A leader is supposed to come to the nation and say, look, these are tragic, these are difficult times. But guess what? Together, we are going to get through this. A leader is supposed to say that despite what happened, my administration will do whatever it takes to try to ensure that this does not happen again. What the Prime Minister said, in many respects, came across as cold, callous, detached. The gentleman said that no amount of laws is going to change or stop this from happening. That is horrible timing to say something like that.
Junior,
in a time of crisis, in a time of mourning, this is not what you say.
Okay.
And I'm sure, in retrospect, if he could have taken back those words, he would have done it.
All right, let's play what the Prime Minister said. Before I play what the Prime Minister said, I have a caller on the line for a very long time. Let me just hear the caller, and then I'll play verbatimly what the Prime Minister said. It was also posted on the Ride Along page. So let's take that caller. Caller, you live? Where are you calling us from?
Hi, Junior. Thank you for accepting. I'm calling from Grenada.
Grenada, go right ahead.
I feel scared when I listen to people like the guy, I didn't get to hear his name properly, and I don't want to address him wrong, that are supposed to be educated and influential, speak like that. And it says to me that we're heading in a direction where we will be very sorry. Now, you don't have to like the Prime Minister, but you have to understand truth in order to change. And I somehow feel like a lot of people do not like him, or are either accustomed to these empty, emotional speeches that do not bring the truth across. I also get the feeling that we are suffering from a severe case of amnesia, where we want to point fingers at a political party that is trying and forgot all the things that we have witnessed and seen the now opposition done with blatant disregard for the people of Grenada. I do offer my sincerest condolence to the young lady and her family. However, what the Prime Minister said is very true. And unless we are willing to accept the truth, we cannot move ahead. And he is right by saying no amount of law can stop this violence. And it may come to a time where it's going to hurt you. But it's true. People are going to do what they want to do regardless of what the law is. What we need to do is to start training. You and I, who are adults, may not live to see that change if we initiate it now. But what we need to start teaching is that we don't own, as he said, we don't own people. Hitting does not solve problems. Killing, and that is what we have to inculcate in our people that are growing up. And to have a political leader listen to what that prime minister said and to turn it into such an interpretation scares me to the core. And to hear others listening to that and chorusing it as if it is some kind of gospel, it's even more scary. I'm not of the view that the NDC is a perfect governance. There are many things that they've done that I think they could have done differently. And like any human or anybody doing something, we are entitled to make error. We see where we fall, and then we can correct it. And so I really wanted to say that I'm not a big influencer. I don't have a page, but I hope that people who are listening to me would pull down their emotions, plug on their brain of reasoning, understanding, do some research before they speak. And to the gentleman who's flopping there and is so arrogant and not listening and can't take a change, you need to calm down. You are a leader. You are influencing young people. And we have to be much more mindful. All these bans have nothing to do with the governance. Grenada has no right to jump into Venezuela business like that. There's some things we have to see, we have to analyze, and we have to look at. The bans that are coming from a region where it's not only Grenada, Canada, he's been doing all manner of things. So are they all bad governance? No.
Right.
We are in an era where things are going to change. And if you have the knowledge that you claim politically, you will understand these things are destined to happen for the new world order to take place. Have a blessed night.
All right. Thank you, caller. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling. All right. Let's play back what the Prime Minister said.
Go ahead, Junior. Let me just respond so we can clarify a couple. The lady has given a mouthful, so I just want to, clarify a couple of things. I want to explain to the lady, okay, and for your audience, this is not personal. This is not whether I like Deacon or I don't like Deacon, or I like Emlyn or I don't like Emlyn. For me, it's never personal. It's about Grenada. Now, if we're in the business of politics and you are so naive to believe that when things like that happen, or anything, a matter of fact, in the political spectrum happens, that another party or the ops is not going to take advantage, okay, or is not going to seize the opportunity to score political points, then you guys are in the wrong business.
Yeah, but in a case where the family is mourning and the family is...
Well, I'm not finished.
Uh-huh.
That may be the case. I am not saying that it was the wise or appropriate thing to do. I'm not saying that it was. I'm not applauding that it was done. I'm just telling you the nature of the business that you're in. But we have to understand that when the Prime Minister comes to speak about something like that, that he has to be very careful about what he says, equally, so that people do not misinterpret what he's saying as coming across callous or cold or detached.
Okay, so let's play that back. Let's play back what the Prime Minister said. This is it.
And it cannot instill values in them. The young man we put in him, what values have they put in him so that violence to the point of a homicide is something that he will engage in? So I'm not going to get up and suggest that any government, any legislator, any parliament is going to solve domestic violence. It will not. And pretending to do so is going to be hypocritical, and you will have more violence. So if we don't go back to behavior and values, because the values will influence the behavior, we are not going to even begin to make a dent in this challenge. If very early on, a young boy or girl isn't taught that hitting each other or hitting another boy or hitting another girl is not acceptable behavior, and it is reinforced consistently by parents, by the churches, by schools, we are not going to make a dent. All of this is reactive. Widening the scope to deal with bullying, ensuring that cohabitants can get a restraining order, etc., means it already has happened and it's too late. So it's reactive. So yes, I agree that fundamentally, greater emphasis has to be on the prevention. And the prevention comes with us ensuring that as a society, we first begin to talk honestly about what has been happening forever in our society, what we need to do to curb it in terms of our education, in terms of our morals, in terms of our values, and in terms of the institutions that will support those things. And the MP for St. Mark is right. The statistics will clearly tell you that Grenada has one of the highest rates of gender-based violence and sexual-based violence, and that at times 60 to 70% of their sizes is in fact dominated by sexual violence, ranging from incest to rape. And if we are not in primary school talking about those things, who goes to primary school and explain to a 5 or 6 or 8-year-old what incest is? Nobody. And why it's wrong. And signs so that you are clear on what is inappropriate behavior from a family member. That's what we need to do. That is what parents and teachers, law enforcement, the church, in the collective, that is what we need to be prepared to do and to go. But if we don't even have, I would call it biological education, where you explain to a child what their body parts are so they could understand what is appropriate and not appropriate. Yes, passing law isn't going to change that because it's too late. So, Mr. Speaker, I think if we are serious about making sure that at least we get concrete action in light of these two tragedies, then we have to go right to the foundation, right at the primary school level, right at the parenting level, right at the village and community and the homes level, and be able to properly talk about those issues and make sure that the behaviors we want are being reinforced consistently over a sustained period of time if we are going to reduce the statistics and improve the outcomes of our country when it comes to the scourge that is currently, well, that has plagued us and continues to plague us. So having said that, I support the bill because it has utility in ensuring that at least those who are victims, particularly of online bullying, online abuse, can have some recourse in the law to ensure that it is stopped.
All right, there. So that's the Prime Minister there speaking in Parliament. And that was the response before that I played from the leader of His Majesty's Opposition, Emlyn Peer, Honorable Emlyn Peer. So the takeaway from that, Perry, you're saying that the Prime Minister is somehow blaming the victim, or not the victim, the family and the community. That was your take.
Well, we're not going to focus just on that, but I am so happy, Junior, that you played this again and you put it in the public domain in its entirety. And I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because in some respects, the Prime Minister said a lot in that clip, but he also didn't say much. And in some respects, I believe that the Prime Minister was opportunistic in what he was doing and saying during that clip. I believe that the Prime Minister believes that Grenadians are not wise and did not see through what was being done in that speech. I see that the Prime Minister was using this as an opportunity to parade, to campaign for the lowering of the age of consent. And he contradicts himself in some respects in that clip. Because on one hand, he says that no amount of laws is going to stop the violence. Okay? That laws is not the panacea. And then he goes on to say, oh, well, guess what? Education at the primary school level and talking to these kids at a younger age is what is going to get it done. And that is the hook. And that is the depth of the deception in that speech. It is a campaign for trying to achieve the lowering of the age of consent. To try to say, oh, let's get sexually explicit knowledge to younger kids. So that will be the panacea and that will solve the problem. But I hope that many Grenadians see through this as much as I see through it.
Okay. Kem, your take?
Yeah, I'm here lost for words. I thought Perry was more prudent. In fact, you have me here somewhat shocked. I thought Perry had more depth and more substance. After listening to what the Prime Minister just said, that is what you deduce from that, Perry? That is what you
Are you actually asking me a question?
Yeah, because well,
I'll tell you, yes, of course. The unsuspecting individual may not realize what is being done. But if you understand the nature of politicians, you would understand that politicians in a crisis, you remember what Hillary Clinton said? Never let a crisis go to waste. So politicians, as much as they're accusing the opposition leader, Ms. Emmeline Peer, of being opportunistic, of seizing the opportunity, okay? With this crisis, the Prime Minister is guilty of doing exactly the same thing. But again, I am not naive. I am not surprised. This is what politicians do. So if you don't see through it, Kem, then I sad to say, I would think you would have been more prudent after all these years in politics. In some respects, you would have wasted a lot of the time you spent in politics, sir, if you do not see through this for what it is.
Right. So, Junior, my take is that I think the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, he did the right thing. He is saying that, you know, laws can't be the eat all. We pass laws only recently for, you know, gun violence and possession of firearm and that kind of thing. But and may I say, the penalty is really stiff. I think a max of 20 or 30 or 40 years if found with firearm and that kind of thing. It's really tough. But still, we saw on the news either last night or so some gun violence or some kind of thing down south in the Montu area. So it kind of bring home the point. Laws alone cannot do it. We need to take an all people's approach. We need to involve the churches, involve community leaders, involve institutions that are advocating on behalf of certain things, involve young men, involve the society in all that we do, the police, law enforcement, and everybody, the schools, and let us sit and try to get to the root of all of this and how can we put things in place to prevent as we move forward, because it's very tough. You're dealing with a society. People come with different everything, right? And you have to deal with it. It's like one pot with all different, you know, things in it. It can be very confusing at times. So I think the Prime Minister did the right thing. He chose the right place to address it, the Parliament, right? And that's the way to go. I think he really appealed to Grenadians, and that is why, as you travel around, people will tell you this Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, he cares about people. You know, he wants good for people. He knows the court. Yes, he's a corporate lawyer, but he knows the court. Come on. Look, I am really happy that we have a prime minister like the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, who is out there, leading by example and with intelligence, with prudence, with humility too. You see him at the vigil. You see him there with the family. You see him praying with them. You see him, saying, don't give up, right? Let us work together. Let's see how we can heal the society. That is what you need. That is what you need. But if that is what Perry did you summit, I can't change his mindset.
Right. I just changing a camera right here. Just stand by really quick, guys. So I could fix this angle. That's why you're not seeing me yet, but I am going to be back in the frame shortly. All right. Let me see if I am back. I think I am. All right. Somehow back in the frame. Yeah. Perry, what before we go to Perry, I have a caller on the line I've been waiting for quite a bit. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Toronto.
Toronto, go right ahead.
Yes. What I wanted, I have a couple of points to make here.
Right.
With Perry, I'm going to take on the last thing that he said.
Mm-hmm.
A while ago, he was basically accusing the Prime Minister of being cold and not caring about people. He does have this callous way about him. But immediately, when Kemp said something, when you played what the Prime Minister said, he changed his mouth. He was saying the Prime Minister is not genuine. But he changed his mouth because a while ago, he was saying he was cold and all of these different things. But when he heard what the Prime Minister said...
Right. You there?
I am here.
Okay. Junior?
Junior might be having some problems.
Yeah, because he made a switch with the camera. Junior?
With what
said. Hold on. Caller, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Kem, let me know if you hear me.
No, we're hearing you. Yeah,
okay.
Perry and I, we hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. My microphone just popped so that the caller was still speaking. Caller, go ahead. Continue.
Yes. So he is claiming now he changed his mouth and calling opportunistic when a while ago he was uncaring and callous and so on. So he's using it as a political ploy. Well, if you listen to the Prime Minister, because I looked at the Parliament that day, and to be honest with you, before the Prime Minister said what he said, I actually said the same thing. Where are the parents? It's not like blaming the parents, because a young lady who just turned 18 years old in an abusive relationship, if parents pay attention or the neighbors pay attention, there should be something that they would have an idea that this child is in an abusive relationship. Now, the Prime Minister did say that, in our own words then, no constitution or no laws that we put could stop from what happening to happen. I said that even before he said it, because the fact about it, laws could be set, because Perry is saying that he has to go there and do his best to see that these things never happen again. Murder would always happen. Rape would always happen. Theft would always happen. But you have to set laws that probably may deter people from it. As I said, I think on your show last week, Junior, yes. You could set a law today, and you could say we'll bring back capital punishment on the electric chair tomorrow morning. That would not stop a demented mind from going out tomorrow morning itself and kill 1, 2, or 3 people. Because the government who runs the country is just like a school teacher. You could tell a child everything. You could give the child all the homework. You could sit down with the child. If the child doesn't want to do the work, the child would not do the work. So the government doesn't have control over people's behavior. They could form things to have deterrence, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it worked. Now, a few years ago, when NNP was in power, I cannot pinpoint the exact time, but Keith Mitchell was in the same position. And he was in a press conference. I don't know if any of you may remember. Ken might remember. Where he sat there and he said, look, I can't do anything about it. The police have to do their job. They can't come to me to tell me, could you do this and could you do that? He clearly said that. And even though I don't support him, I did say he has a point. So the thing about Perry, you need to change your way in which you say things, because when you're talking, if Junior or Cam comes up with something that you see is going to nail off what you've just said, you say, okay, I wasn't finished yet, let me continue. That's what you do. You do that all the time. And I'm not trying to be facetious or anything here with that, or being, you know, you have a tendency, because the world look at you, and when you speak about the government, especially the Prime Minister, especially Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, you can see the venom, you can see the hate. It's there, because you know something about psychology, teachers? It changes your muscle tension when you say certain things. You are saying Emlyn was not doing anything wrong. She was not using it for political gains. But as soon as they played the tape, you changed your mouth from saying he is this and he is that to, okay, yes, he's using it now for political gain, and this is not right. What the man said, anybody with intelligence would know that. And for a man who likes to go up there all the time and talk, you notice what you saw all the time. Sorry to be that long, Junior, but you always I. If they see the way that I see it, and if they see that I this, you are an I man.
Okay, all right, Paula.
And you know, let me stop, because you know something, Perry, you are an extremely biased man, and the world is watching you. You don't even know what you're doing on there. You make yourself look like a fool.
Let's give him a chance to respond. Thank you, Paula. Appreciate you. Perry, your response?
Well, I mean, you know, after all of that dishonoring of himself, I don't even think I want to respond to what he said. I mean, we obviously understand he's a political hack, and he's talking about venom, and he came here and in some respect disrespected the show and attack a guest of the show. So, you know, it doesn't even make sense to respond. But I just want to correct. I didn't say that the Prime Minister was not genuine, and I didn't say he is callous per se. I said it came across as callous. Okay, and that's a fact. Okay, and as for me saying that it's opportunistic, and he was opportunistic, you can both be callous, cold, detached, and opportunistic. And this is not just me saying. This is not just my feeling. I don't have any beef with the Prime Minister, and you guys know in particular that I've tried so many times in the past, and I said I generally don't say anything about the Prime Minister because I understand how difficult the job is. And I have refrained many a times from saying anything, but recently it has become overbearing when you see such things happening that have such grave implications for the nation collectively.
Okay.
So anybody who cares and anybody who's concerned about Grenada would say something. Okay? For all that has been said about Keith Mitchell and the previous administration, I don't understand why some people seem to be so sensitive. You know, it makes one believe that it's some sort of cultic following or something, that you dare not say anything about a Prime Minister. This is crazy. Okay? Anyone who holds public office, okay, if things are being done that people believe, okay, could jeopardize the society, then they have a right, they have an obligation. It's the ultimate love of country. And this gentleman obviously doesn't know me, because when there was a problem at Clogier, guess what a responsible, loving citizen of this administration did? I contacted directly, okay, the people who were responsible for the project in the government. via a friend of mine, who was also a gentleman in New York. And I tried to assist them. Is that someone that doesn't love this administration?
Right.
At the beginning, when they were losing the UK SIF project, I spent umpteen of hours with a certain gentleman who was going to Barbados to try to salvage a bit of the money. Is that someone who doesn't care about the administration? Is that someone who doesn't care about his country?
Right.
So, do not be presumptuous about what people do and don't do.
Okay.
When there was a situation with the US-Venezuela spat, when I warned Grenadians, I came on this show, bellowed at the top of my lungs, that if we don't tread cautiously, there will be deadly consequences. Guess what? No one listened. And then we find ourselves in the situations we find ourselves in. That is true love. That is true responsible citizenship.
Right. Okay. I'm can respond.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Junior, firstly, the UK SIFT project was one that the NNP never did or implemented. So that project, I think it came up to about a 80 or 100 and something $million EC. So the NNP administration had to implement that project because it came under the visitation of one of those prime ministers. I just can't remember his name, from the United Kingdom. He came here and they were able to get that project, but they never implemented the project. So we actually lost the project. But thanks to the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and the honorable Andy Williams and the team, they were able to nicely negotiate for at least the water component, the water enhancement or expansion project, this Southern Water Expansion Project, something like that it's called, where they're laying the pipes and doing the sewer and all the sewage issue in Tongue and that kind of thing, rectifying that. So thanks to the NDC administration, they were able to save that aspect. So we lost the one for the Western Main Road enhancement, because they were supposed to do some work on the Western Main Road, but that couldn't be done because the NNP again did not implement the project. If they did that in time, we would have had David Cameron. Thank you very much there, Cecilia Peters. So that is something I need to say. Thanks to the most honorable Deacon Mitchell. Then Perry spoke there about consequences from the stance we took as a country with Venezuela. I stated over and over, Grenada has a good relationship with the United States of America and a good relationship with Venezuela and other countries throughout the world. That is what sovereign countries do. What I can say though, the issue that he made reference to in terms of the ban, the fish, you always speak about that. That actually started, in fact, we heard it from the government, the NNP administration themselves, that this started under the NDC administration of 2008, that period, 2008, not NDC, NNP, because it started 12 years ago. So 12 years ago take you to what? Either when the NDC just came in or when they almost out, 2012, I think, 2012, 2013, when they almost going out of power. And then the NNP came into power for 2 consecutive terms, 2013 to 2018, 2018 to 2022. And then people started to ask them, what did you do? And I think the Honorable Emlyn Pear, I don't know if you have that piece, Junior. Did you get that piece where she actually addressed that?
I don't have it.
Yeah,
she
actually addressed that. She was on a program, and she was asked, "Can I upload? How can you get it?
Send it on WhatsApp or email it.
Email it, right? Because it would be nice to play that piece, because I actually have that piece here, Perry, because it's always important to lend clarity and provide information for the viewers, she actually cleared that up, where she said, look, this is what happened, and this, and then she was pressed by the goodly gentleman on that program. What is his name? On Beyond Airlines.
Okay.
What is it again, Junior?
I'd like to add some clarity to the situation too.
Junior, I sent it to you.
Okay, you sent it. Okay, cool. All
Right.
right. So let me get to ingest that, guys. So let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Need a taxi? Download RideGo from the App Store. Tap the app.
Hi, I want $10 on Playway, $20 backup on Pick 3, and cash for each, please. Okay, are you adding multi-X to your bet? Yes, multi-X, all of them. Smart! Best value bet. Backup and multi-X, you cannot go wrong. Don't matter the bet, multi-X all of the daily games.
With multi-X added, your winnings can be multiplied 3 times, 5 times, even 7 times. So make it a rule. Add multi-X to all your Playway, daily Pick 3, and daily cash for bets every day and for every drop, and watch your money grow. Available at stores and online.
You heard it here. Multiply your winnings daily. Must be 18 or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Definitely, guys. NLA, making your dreams come true. Play the games of the NLA, and even if you don't win, you're supporting sports, culture, and nation building. And also, guys, Right Along Live is also brought to you by the kind compliments of RideGo. If you need a taxi, tap the app, download the RideGo app, and anywhere you are, you could get a taxi. Download it right now in your app store.
Junior, we could
get a taxi. Right?
We can give the folks on the radio a little thumbs up.
Oh, big up to the folks on the radio. Kim, go ahead.
106.3 FM and 106.3 FM is actually bringing it. Kim the King, big up your whole self.
Kim the King.
Bringing it live here on the FM band right here in Grenada.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kim the King. All right, so we got that clip. Let's play that clip.
Fisherman's house in Burial. That person took out a mortgage, and I'm speaking about a real example right now. Took out a mortgage to repair the home, but not expecting that he would not be able to be exporting fish to the U.S. in January.
Well, this is an interesting one, because this problem did not arise yesterday or last year. The citation by the U.S. government and NOAA came since, what, 2017 or thereabouts? So it's been a long-standing issue. Why has Grenada failed to be responsive to the concerns expressed? And this is over now 8 years. So it's not a 2022 issue. It's over 8 years. Why have we failed?
And I would not go into blaming anyone. Let's look at the facts, right? The facts are, A, the U.S. published a list in 2020. So there were concerns prior to 2020. There were issues raised. But in 2020, a list was published. The government of Grenada was the New National Party administration. What did we do? And you, I'm quite sure, recall what was happening in 2020. Because of the situation with COVID, because of the implication, financially and otherwise, what did the government do responsibly so? Was to sit, negotiate with the US government. So the persons who represented Grenada, and that's why I said who your negotiators are is important. So they sat with the department in the US, and what did we receive? An extension from 2020 to 2022. In other words, your compliance, you have that period, that window to get yourself together.
Okay, so from the extension was 2020 to 2022?
To 2022.
Okay, why wasn't it done in 2022?
Now, we had to the end of 2022, and if you recall, elections was in the middle of 2022.
Are you suggesting that it's a 6-month process and it was carded for July to December of 2022? There seems to have been neglect to this prior, and that's where I'm going.
Let me explain.
All right.
Right. So does that add better clarity?
The point I was making, Junior.
Right.
So 2017, the NNP was in power. All right? Because you remember 2013 to 2018, they won and they had that all 15 seats.
Yes.
He indicated that they gave them a list. The United States government gave them a list of what should be done. The same fish ban, what should be done. And that is why Colimo was pressing her to say, but all right, COVID, you got an extension. An extension doesn't mean that you have to stop working on the list. You got some more time, but what did you do within that period of time that you were in government?
Oh, it's not Colimo, it's Dow.
Dow, sorry, not Colimo, Dow. Colin Dow, right? What did you do within that 2-year span that you got the extension? Did you just, didn't do anything? You didn't bother? And then he went even further to say, well, she said, well, the extension is for the end of 2022. So he said to her, well, so 6 months is all you need to get this thing done. So why didn't you all do it in the 2 years extension that you had? So you see, when my good friend Perry start blaming, sometimes you have to put the evidence on the table to say this fish ban did not come about because of Venezuela and Grenada or America and Venezuela. No. Nope. And when he made reference also with the visa issue never came about with the Venezuela and America issue. It was the Cuba issue with the medical doctors that the United States still have issues with, and the government of Grenada, they made some amends, they made some changes to the laws, to the arrangement and so on. So it is a misfit. He made reference to Venezuela and Grenada. The only thing that this man could point to is the United States of America. It's just some visa restriction for people who are going for green card. The green card holders, not the ordinary visa that you go to visit, what is the name of that visa?
It's resident. I'll get it. 1B
visa. They did not
non-immigrant.
Yeah.
Right, non-immigrant. That's it. Non-immigrant
visa. Yes.
Right. If you want to go and reside in the United States of America, so and not only Grenada, you have about 9 or 10 countries in the region, even Jamaica, even Barbados, even big countries. I think Guyana, not the Guyana. So Guyana was spared. Trinidad
was spared, and Trinidad was spared.
Right.
You want to know why? Is there any mystery why?
No,
so let me respond. Hold on. Let me respond.
I won't give you a chance. But the only reason I say that is because you pull out Grenada. Like you just pull Grenada out and you make Grenada look as though Grenada did something wrong. And as a result, they slap this thing on Grenada. So that's you're misinforming the Grenadian people, the listeners, the viewers. It was not because Grenada did something wrong. So you said to me that Barbados did something wrong? Dominica did something wrong? St. Lucia did something wrong? Jamaica did something wrong? And all those countries did something wrong? I mean, come on.
Very?
Okay, Kevin. You always boast a lot about how long you've been in politics. And you always say, I know this thing. But sometimes it is kind of, disappointing with the things that you say for someone who's been in politics for such a long time. And I want you to understand that in the middle of all that was happening, do you believe that Grenada's stance on the U.S.-Venezuela issue helped Grenada's cause? Or did it harm Grenada's cause?
Just for clarity, Perry, what was Grenada's stance? Establish what Grenada's stance was from your understanding.
Well, it was obvious. Listen, unlike Grenada, I am very cautious and careful to what extent I involve myself in geopolitical issues. I don't offer up myself as an interlocutor, and I don't want to say too much about the issue. I think that is a wise approach.
So you're saying that because Grenada tried to establish itself as an interlocutor, that's why the U.S. government slammed whatever visa restrictions on it?
You used to go to fair. You used to go to fair in school, in high school, primary school?
Sometimes.
Okay. You ever see two men pull bottle and start fighting in a fair in a primary school or high school?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Get involved in the middle? Or
your position is because Grenada
would have been wise to offer up yourself to go and part them men who break two bottles and trying to chop each other apart?
So your position is because Grenada,
I'm asking.
Because Grenada tried to establish itself, from your understanding of it.
So you believe that Grenada was wise to get involved in a geopolitical spat, armed conflict, possible.
How did Grenada, from your understanding, establish how did Grenada get involved? Because I
just said to you,
Uh-huh.
I just try to break it down and make it and localize the issue.
Right.
By saying you've been to a primary school fair, you've been to a secondary school fair, two men break bottles and going at each other. Do you get in the middle of that? Do you go and try to part them? Do you take sides? Or you say, no, I'm gonna put you guys apart. I'm gonna separate you guys. Do you do that? You think that's a wise thing to do?
Well, if two of them are my friends, then I'll try to see how I could calm the situation.
With possible armed conflict? These are battles we talk about here. But here, in the world of nation, we talk about missiles, billion-dollar anti-aircraft systems. And you think it's wise that 133 square miles who have a bunch of cutlass to defend themselves get involved in the middle of that?
I think Trinidad got involved. I think Grenada, and that's just my understanding. You probably have a better understanding than I think Grenada tried its best to not be involved. Because look, think about the request to have the radar system set up in Grenada. Grenada did not come out and say yes. Neither did Grenada come out and say no. And that was highly praised by people around the world. It was a decision that is between a rock and a hard place. Yet Grenada did not say yes or no. The situation happened and Grenada was not involved. Trinidad got involved in the middle of the geopolitical conversation. Trinidad was center to that. I don't see it as Grenada tried to place itself in the middle of it.
So you believe that offering up yourself as an interlocutor. And you know the sad thing about this, Junior? You know what is really, really sad about this? I'll tell you what's sad about it. That Grenada has extensive experience in dealing with being involved in geopolitical spats in the early 80s. So Grenada as a nation should have been best positioned to wisely navigate that situation. Well, let's leave that alone now. Let's talk about the fishing ban. I want to address your
let me come point there and we come back to the fishing ban, because the fishing ban I really want to talk about it too. I want to get
I gotta explain the fishing ban.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me ask you one question, Perry. In all of this, what did Grenada suffer? In all of what you say in there with the issue between Grenada and Venezuela and the United States, what did Grenada suffer?
Again, Kim.
You
always tell me that you're a man who's been in politics for a very long time. But sometimes I really, really wonder. Let me ask you something.
No, I ask you a question.
No. Well, to illustrate, let me ask you something. So you believe that Grenada, okay, who is supposed to be for decades, post-83, is supposed to be an ally of the United States. Cordial relationships. As a matter of fact, for all the talk about zone of peace and security and that nonsense by these socialist Marxists in Grenada, for all that talk of that, you know who has guaranteed the zone of peace in the Caribbean? I'll tell you who has guaranteed the zone of peace in the Caribbean. The United States. The United States is the one that has provided funding and arming the RSS, the Regional Security System, and has facilitated the creation of the RSS post-83.
Right, I want to go back to asking you the same question, Perry. What has Grenada, what happened? What we lost?
Would you give me a chance to get it? Would you give me a chance to get it?
I'm asking you straightforward
question.
Yeah,
I'm giving, would you give me a chance to get it? So you believe that if you have a perceived friend, right? I'll break it down for you. Go to a party. You and your French go to a party. And then you get into a fight. And your friend, your perceived friend, who you have extremely cordial relationship with, your type, stands up on the sideline and sees you get bullied and beaten by someone else. aren't you going to reassess your relationship with?
Ask you a very simple question.
No, I'm asking you. Aren't you going to reassess? Aren't you going to reassess your relationship with that friend?
Just answer the question, man.
And that is the point. That is the point.
Very.
That is the point.
Yeah.
That is the point.
The question.
That
The question
someone
still.
who perceives Grenada as a friend, okay, and Grenada disregards them, plays game. Listen, you think these people don't have hundreds of years of experience in international affairs and foreign affairs? That you're gonna come and play games with them?
Right.
You think they don't know what's
Okay,
going on?
let me ask you a question. What did Grenada suffer as a result?
Exactly. You should not have to ask me that question, because obviously, if you ruffle the feathers of a perceived friend, you don't think they're gonna reassess the relationship with you? Do you think now that the United States would be in a rush, in a hurry, to approve the importation of yellowfin tuna into the country? Do you think they'll be in a rush?
Yeah, but that, as we established earlier, but that was not as a result. That was not as a result of.
Oh, it's not as a result of. When relationship changes with people, I mean, we all have had that personal experience. When your relationship,
Perry, hold on. I understand what you're saying. I just want to. Yeah, but
how you deal with that?
But that was not as a result. That did not. The importation of the fish was not as a result of any ruffling of feathers between Grenada and the United States.
But I'm asking you, do you think now that the United States would come with open arms and willing to facilitate and speed up the process for the re-importation of yellow tuna into the United States?
So you're saying, Grenada offering up itself to be an interlocutor, saying, okay, guys, let us negotiate. Let us not have war in the region. Let us have a zone of peace, which Barbados said the same thing. St. Vincent said the same thing. Antigua said the same thing. Every Caribbean leader said
you're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. I always do, Junior, I've never doubted it. You're an extremely smart fellow. You're getting warmer. So you understand the implications for ruffling the feathers of your friends. Did Trinidad have that problem? Did Guyana have that problem?
But Trinidad did something everybody else did not do.
Let me tell you something. Kamla Prasad has basically put to shame many of the Caribbean leaders.
No, she friended up with Trump. She friended up with Trump.
She's the sort of Joan of Arc of prime ministers in the Caribbean and a Joan of Arc of Trinidad. Because in the middle of geopolitical spat, she navigated it pretty well.
Perry, I want to move. Hold on, Perry. I understand where you're coming from because I know your political support. I know your political alignment. I know your political affiliation, right? But
you sure you do?
I think I do. But what Kamala Prasad did, she friend up with Trump, and we know how that go. If you friend up with Trump, Trump would just give you whatever. That is how it works. She is Trump's best friend. She is Trump's sidekick, and we know that. She basically said yes to everything, including creating a military base in Tobago, right? We know what happened there, right? So she was spared.
We really know what happened there?
Why? We all know why she was spared.
Okay, so we know all of that, and that is exactly what I was telling you, Junior. That Grenada was best positioned because of its historical experience in the early 80s.
To allow a military base.
Hey, nobody's saying allow. It was in the best position to navigate. You know what I'm saying? Navigate that political spat. And guess what happened? Grenada dropped the ball. I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying and believe I'm saying, oh, we should have allowed this. But they were in the best position because, and it's so funny, they have all these guys advising them, all these advisors. So you would have thought that these also brilliant advisors would have done them justice because of the experience. You would have thought that we'd have learned something from our experience. And you know what's interesting? The climate was in some respects similar, because we had at the time, a President Ronald Reagan in charge in the United States. And some people were describing him as a very hawkish president. And in some respects, people may describe the current president as similar. So you would think that if you learn certain experiences in the early 80s, that you would have been able to navigate the current political situation in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Well, let's leave that there.
All right.
I think you get what I'm saying. Let's go on to the fishing bat.
Yes, fishing bat. Hold on, before we go to Kim, you want to respond?
Yeah, well, I asked Perry a question, and up to now, he has not answered that question. I ask you a very simple, straightforward question. You stated Grenada dropped the ball, they this, they that. What did Grenada suffer? What happened? What is the problem here? What? Tell me now. I kind of lost. What you freeze up? All of a sudden, the man freeze up, you know.
All right, we lost Perry there. Guys, if you're watching Right Along Live, and thanks to all our affiliate radio and television programs carrying us live, we like to have both sides of an argument, both sides of a conversation. So we have Perry here, and of course, Kim Jones giving us some information. I really want to get an answer to that question as well. We're going to try to rejoin Perry back again. Don't move, guys. We'll be right back. You're watching Right Along Live.
Yeah. 999. What boy? Yeah. What boy? What boy? The sun is hot. The breeze is slow. I need a ride. Where do I go? Ride, go. Yeah. That's the name. Island roads will never feel the same. Tap the app. Just one click. Hopping fast. It's real quick. Ride, go. Where do you wanna go? To the beach, to the street, let the island flow. Ride, go. The good vibe show, fastest growing ride, everybody know. Ride, go. Where do you wanna go? To the beach, to the street, let the island flow. Ride, go. Let the good vibe show, fastest growing ride, everybody know.
Where do you want to go?
Compliments of RideGo, the fastest growing ride share in Grenada. It's easy, guys. You need a taxi from Grenada to Carriacou, and wherever you are at your home right now, just download the app. Very, very simple. It takes about 30 seconds to install. Create an account, and if you need a car, old time days is when you pick up the phone and have to call this boy. Yo, you available? You can give me a ride? No. You have the ride in your phone, and you're backed by over 150 taxi on this app. So no matter where you go, no matter what time, you could always know that you have a transportation to get back home. So forget with the excuse, I got stranded, that done. The days for that done. Download RideGo from the App Store right now. It's RideGo, so yeah, RYDEGO. RideGo, fast and easy, always available, always accessible. And get this, guys, it is even more. The rates are better than any other taxi service on the island. We have the best rates on the island. Download RideGo in the App Store right now. Go search. If you think I like, go in there and check it out. And compare it to the competition. You'll see. That's why more people are choosing RideGo to get around. Download RideGo, RYDEGO. Back in the conversation right here, we have Kim Jones live on the program. And I don't see Perry. Perry got, I don't know if his device died, but we lost connection with Perry there. Kim?
Yes, I'm here, and waiting on Perry to answer that question. I hope he comes back and answer it, because it is important to put this thing into context, because the 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 Caribbean islands who got this ban for people who want to live in the United States and work in the United States, they're all, it's not just Grenada. So he can't say Grenada. You see the point? So I want to know, what's about Grenada? What, the whole fishing thing that was on the NNP, this whole thing started. That's way before. the visa ban for the Minister of Finance, and I think some Ophelia Cornwall woman, I don't know what her surname is now. She I think her name was mentioned as receiving some kind of ban thing too, right? These two individuals, but that's about it with the Cuban situation with the medical students and so on. So I want to know the connection. You see, he's talking loose. I want to know what Grenada suffered here, because Grenada is a partner with the United States and a partner with Venezuela and other countries around the world. In fact, Marco Rubio, he might be on his way to St. Kitts and Nevis as we speak. You know, Grenada is friends with countries all around the world. So this, man, it's amazing. I thought we would have gone to cricket, because cricket seemed to be the biggest biddy bang on social media, that people are saying, come on. Even cricket, they check this whole fun cricket to a celebrity cricket thing, where you go to laugh and have fun. That too, they drag it into the political world of mudballing and stupidness,
Yeah. We didn't even get to the point where I wanted to ask the question. And it's funny enough that we had all this discussion almost an hour and a half or 145 minutes, but we did not mention Peter Party at all. I'm not sure if that it lost the momentum. I didn't hear Perry brought it up. It was not discussed. Is Peter political party still on the minds of people? Are people still talking about it? What's the feeling that you get in Kem?
Well, look, they never had a momentum, There is a difference between a party and a party. Peter has a posy, a party. You know, a little thing that they put under the bed when the elderly folks don't want to get up and go in the bathroom or the restroom to use the toilet bowl. That is what Peter has, in my belief. That ain't going nowhere. And then you have a NNP who fighting to survive. So you just think about it. Anytime Emlyn open up her mouth, it's problems. You just look. You see, Junior, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just go and look at the comments. Michael Batiste, your good partner, went on an NNP platform. He vomit. I call it political vomit. You let that thing out and look. Read the comments. It's 600, 700, 800 comments. 99% of them is negative against the man on an NNP platform. Then you had Emlyn Pe saying all that stupidness that she said there and bringing the death of the young people into, to this political stupidness and this low life kind of thing. You understand the point? Immediately, just go and read the comments. Go and check out the comments. Nearly all the comments are negative against Keith Mitchell when he talk his nonsense. Only recently again, we're not talking, published this thing. Same thing, Grenadians have had it with these people. It is clear. Grenadians are looking for opportunities and they're getting it. Grenadians want a leader who is intelligent, who is level-headed, who is focused, who has a plan and working towards it, who is not bacchanalish and confrontational and who is down to earth. You realize our beloved Prime Minister, he's mixing and mingling with everybody. He's out in the night, knocking on doors, listening to people, sitting with people. What do you want? So look, Junior, some people don't understand this politics. When the election time comes around, I believe they're going to appreciate it more.
All right. So I'm not even going to ask you that question, Kem, because I think I already know what the answer will be. But I guess I'll ask you that way. Do you see, or do you have any advice to the current administration of things that they need to do that they're not doing right now that could even enhance their chances?
Well, look, I have always said on my program publicly that I understand how to win. And knocking on doors is key. And I realize that they're doing a lot of that now, the NDC. Knocking on doors, engaging people, going out there and identify the people who support them, understanding their needs and their wants. They're on that path. And that's a great thing. I love that. In fact, I publicly commended them. I say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Because, initially I was like, you got to do it. You got to keep doing it. Engage, knock on doors, publish what you're doing. You're doing a lot of stuff in the country. You need to push the PR more. Let people see what you're doing. Politics is that. And then all of a sudden I see they're doing a lot of that. The PR, showcasing what they're doing. So they're doing a lot, but more can be done. If they use our beloved Prime Minister as an example, I think they're going to be where they have to be. If they use the Honorable Andy Williams as an example, I think they're going to be where the Honorable Tevin Andrews. So you have, the Honorable Ron Reddit and the Honorable Delma Thomas, and you see a lot of them now. They're out there on the ground. The Honorable Philip Telesford out there all in the night. So you're seeing it, the Honorable David Andrews. You're seeing them more and more then, and they just have to keep doing it, right? Go out there, identify the people who voted for them, understand their needs and wants. There are people in the middle. You see, Junior, what you don't hear a lot about is the people in the middle.
Right.
You have NNP has their base, NDC has their base. You can't run away from that. But you have some people in the middle. You're talking about 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 people in the middle who only want good for Grenada. Right. They're not concerned about NNP, NDC, PLM, or GLP. If the country is heading in the right direction, if opportunities are created for people, if the economy remains stable and peaceful, because Grenada is a peaceful place,
Yeah.
Every time then you might hear about some kind of deranged person doing some kind of stupidness or some kind of weird thing happening, or some sad thing happening. But Grenada is a very, very peaceful place. You listen to Trinidad, the mountain murders, Jamaica. I mean, we don't want to become like them, but Grenada is a very peaceful place. So Grenadians home and abroad want that. They want Grenada to remain that way. And, I'm happy to see Perry back. And I hope he...
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. There's a little issue here, I think, with the connection or something.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, let me just, get back to where I was. I'm sorry. Well, I think we kind of covered and understood the whole geopolitical issue. But the bottom line about this geopolitical issue, I think, in some respects, and I believe, and many people who understand the situation would agree that it is, and it was, because of amateurish diplomatic maneuvering that we got ourselves in that situation. Amateurish diplomatic maneuvering. Okay?
What situation?
Again, I said, we all know the situation, and it's so funny, Kem, that when I spoke about this like months ago, I mean, we were on Ride Along together, you were very dismissive, and you said, "Oh, well, it's not like the whole of Grenada experiencing some sort of visa ban or something." And I said to you, you said, "Oh, he's blowing this out of proportion," and I specifically said to you, Kem, I said, "I want you to be scared."
Scared about what?
Hold on. In some way, warning that they could have been collected. You say, "Oh, we're not like when Canada banned Grenadians from coming to Canada and stuff like that." And I said, it's quite possible that the initial ban or the initial situation with the individual was a test.
But this is not
based on how we responded and handled the situation. Guess what? There would have been incremental measures, and there have been incremental measures collectively. So we understand. Let me get to the fishing ban. We understand. But basically, the bottom line, amateurish diplomatic maneuvering. But let's move on. Let's talk about the fishing ban.
Hold on. Was it this amateur with the 75 other countries, and it was non-immigrant visa? Is not visitor visa. It was.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something, Junior.
Yeah.
When you're going and hang out down in Grenville, right? Or you're going to party on Carnival night or whatever, you think if 75 people get into trouble, you wanted to get into trouble with the 75 people?
Yeah.
You could have avoided getting into trouble with the 75 people. Wouldn't you have avoided it?
No, but hold on.
Don't you believe political navigation, diplomatic maneuvering?
Yeah, but it
would
was
have helped Grenada avoid themselves getting in that situation. You don't believe so?
Immigrant visa.
You don't believe Taka diplomacy could have avoided Grenada finding itself in that situation?
You
don't believe so?
What D'Ivoire did.
Yeah.
What did Dominica did? What did Gabon did?
Well, we know what we know. We know what that did.
Malawi did.
We know what all these guys did. What did the guy from Dominica said? What did he say?
Zimbabwe.
It was 75.
What did they all say? What did they all say? You think as much as the world will have you believe that the United States is some bully crazy country?
It is.
Guess what? As every country should do.
Right.
as every country should do, listen to me carefully,
Right.
do what is in their best interest. And I'll tell you, the Caribbean neighbors, our beloved comrades throughout the Caribbean, has proven that. Always do what is in your best interest. In 1983, okay, when our sons and daughters were pinned down, losing their life, guess what? All the love of comradeship, all the brotherly love. Tell me who sent a MiG or a jet or a plane to come and help us.
Right.
They did. You know what I said? And these guys who have experience in this will tell you about this. All these big commerce will tell you about this. They called for assistance. And guess what the leader of the nation said? Guess what he said? Impossible. No can do. And that was your brotherly comrade, you know. The point I'm making to you, and Grenada alone had to stand up and face one of the most sophisticated armies in the world. And their sons and daughters had to lay down their life. Okay? So the point I'm making to you, do not be willing to always jump to somebody's assistance. This is not friend thing. And even friends abandon you in times of trouble. Yes, and this is something that a leader of a nation, and I hope for future leaders, this serve as a watershed moment.
What?
As a learning experience.
I want to know from you what happened. What Grenada suffered?
Grenada. Okay, as a learning experience.
Yeah.
As I said, Kem, if you couldn't see it or you don't see it, then you're wasting your time in politics for all these years.
What you really
Okay?
talking about?
Amateurish,
we were able
diplomatic navigation is what caused Grenada to be in that situation. Amateurish.
Hold on. Let's look up in there. I know you all often speak highly of Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley. All right, Terry?
Speak highly of Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley?
I thought you said. I thought you said.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Me highly of Barbados PM?
I could have swear. I stand corrected.
Oh, well, I might have said that she's very cunning and shrewd.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's so much of a. She's very cunning and shrewd, and I believe that a lot of what she does is campaigning for a job post politics, some sort of international agency job or UN job or something like that.
Do you foresee
that is my opinion?
Is her administration amateur as well in terms of the negotiation with the United States or any place else?
Anyone who suffered consequences of, listen, don't pretend you don't know the political leaning of Mia Mottley. Okay? But even she was smart enough. Even she was smart enough and say, you know what? I'm not going to say too much. Again, Grenadians probably could have learned something from her.
So the 75 countries that had a pause on the non-immigrant visa was as a result of amateur negotiation with United.
No. They meant no. We're talking about Grenada and the Caribbean. I mean, others, there are other reasons. Come on, you know that and I know that. There are more, so in some cases, major reasons why the United States decided to cut him out. There's a lot of issues involved here.
It was a pause on non-immigrant visa. Folks could have gone to Barbados and get their visa as normal. Folks who had their visa in process in the US, it didn't stop that. It was only for non-immigrants.
That's not true. What are you talking about, Junior? If a guy called you last year and tell you, oh, he's coming, he's waiting for his green card and he's coming up next year. Guess what?
That is very true. In fact, we had the attorney.
Guess what's going to happen to him? If he wanted to leave Grenada and pursue his education, okay? And he says, look, I'm coming up next year. But let me understand something. I know you understand, Junior, because you've lived extensively in the United States. Once you're in a database, you know databases in the United States. Once you're in a database, there's much discretion to the people who, you're going to be seen at immigration offices. Once you're in a database, guess what happens on the computer? A flag.
Yeah, but no. I don't want to give the wrong impression as to what happened here.
No, we're not giving the wrong impression. The right impression is that
just to the audience, if you from Grenada or any one of the 75 countries who are applying for a visa, visitor visa, B1, B2 visa, that did not affect you, and that will not affect you. It was only for folks who were looking to get their green card. Say you were in the United States and you had to travel in the Caribbean, and you had to get that visa to travel to finalize your status in the United States. Then it affected you. But for people with a B1, B2, it did not affect you. It will not affect you as far as what they said. Initially, it was put out that all visas, but it was later clarified that it was not all visas. I had a immigration attorney who came on here and confirmed that was the right. So I just wanted to make that very clear that did not affect folks that going to get their B1, B2 visa, right? I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, that is theoretically so, right? That is theoretically so, right? And we have to understand that how do you get people to do things in this life? You can either seduce them or you can seriously pressure them. So don't feel because they said that it's not going to impact anything else.
Don't try to play the clever child in the damn room. You made a pronouncement. It was false. It was false. Junior corrected you to say to you that the nonsense.
No. Junior clarified. He didn't correct me. I know the issue. He clarified what the issue is for people. He didn't correct me. What do you mean correct me? I know the issue.
You to say to
no. I said it before he said it. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. I know you're getting a little frustrated and anxious, Ken, but we're not going to go there. I know you're getting a little frustrated. I know you're getting a little anxious. Let's get back to the fishing ban.
Okay, so guys, okay, so we have about 5 more minutes, right? We have about 5 more minutes. Right. I have a date. And we went over time already, right?
Good for you.
and my date is watching me real bad eye right now because I'm late.
Oh wow, amazing.
Yes.
Okay, let me wrap it up.
Right.
The bottom line is this: those consequences that descended on Grenada is because of amateur diplomatic navigation, indisputably so. And let's get to the fishing ban. Now, the nature of politics is such that NDC don't get to inherit a whole bunch of projects, finish them, and tap themselves on the back and say, hooray, yeah, we did it. Okay? And take praises for it. And then when they inherit 1 or 2 problems, then they say, oh, guess what? That problem didn't start with us. It does not work like that in politics. You do not get to applaud yourself for inheriting stuff and finishing it and applaud yourself, okay? And then when you inherit a couple of problems, you say, oh, guess what? This didn't start with us. But guess what? You are ultimately responsible for the things that happens on your watch. Okay. Indisputably so. If it happens on your watch, you're in the driver's seat. Ultimately, you're responsible. You can't point to a former administrator and say, oh, it's because of them.
No.
Because, 1 second, because people change their leadership in hope that the new leadership is going to do better, right? That's why you fire your old CEO, right? Because you want a new CEO who's going to elevate the company, right? So the new CEO can say, guess what? The reason that we ended up in this situation is because of the previous administration. Because then on the flip side, you'll have to give credit to the previous administration for securing the funding, having the design plans, okay, for Molinette project, for the port, the airport project, okay, even in some respects for the Cloger project, for the Cliff project. So you see what I'm saying? Because if you want to do that, then you set yourself back.
Right. Okay.
So I hope that is understood. Maurice Bishop and the PRG government had the same problem. And now I'm starting to actually rightfully give credit to the Gary government for having done the design of the international airport. So the PRG government inherited a design for the PRG airport, for the Morris Bishop International Airport. As a matter of fact, the highway to Morris Bishop highway down to the airport, a lot of that, a portion of that down to Chublu was built.
Yeah, but Perry,
by the Gary government for 69.
We cannot.
I'm not saying that as an illustration, just to illustrate the point. You don't get, again, just to repeat, you don't get to inherit projects, finish it, and then applaud yourself. And then when you inherit one or two difficulties, say,
okay.
It's not my fault, it's the previous administration's fault. It doesn't work like that. The bottom line is this, is that the NDC administration would have a lot of explaining to do to the Grenadian people for all these failed infrastructural projects, okay, across the country.
Right.
They'll have a lot of explaining to do. And that is why, just to finalize it, that is why our guy, Mr. Nicholas Macmillan, he is coming. He is coming for St. George Northeast. He is coming. Okay?
Okay.
So these guys better prepare.
Okay. Kim?
Well, Junior, two things. I want to encourage Perry to go and read the comments after the program, and he will learn something from it. So the next interview will be way better.
I can never learn anything from that. I don't look at comments. I don't do comments.
And I want to.
Crazy? I don't do comments.
Okay.
I did not rudely interrupt you.
These are sensitive people in the comments. I don't do comments, please.
I did not rudely interrupt you. And I want to wish you, Junior, all the best on your date. And, just have a wonderful time. That's all I have to say.
Same here, Junior.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Great time.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you. I want the public to go. I want to thank you, Junior, for that ride, the motorbike, the C-bike, with the kids. Oh, that was awesome.
Nice.
It was a good workout. Thank you so much. I really had fun.
Nice.
I appreciate it.
Nice. Just last question though. I kind of asked Ken, but I think he was not on at the time. If election were somehow get called within the next 2 weeks or so, what position? Who's winning? Who is at the top? Who's getting what?
Well, as I said to you, theoretically, the incumbent, the NDC, they will have an edge theoretically because they're in power, and theoretically, incumbent administrations always have an edge. And also, I heard that the current administration's prime minister, the leader of the administration, has in the last budget organized a $50 million slush fund. So the funding is heavy. That's a good thing. I would also believe that I know through the grapevine that the election might have been in summer, but I believe that this current administration might pull a Mia Motley on us and bring it up to March or April. That would be actually a good thing, a very strategic thing to do, to catch a few of the unprepared parties and people with their pants down, so to speak, politically.
Okay.
But I just to analyze a couple of the people around Grenada, I think that the NDC will have a serious work to do down in the Southeast, because now we have Dwight down there. I mean, the guy has connections, and he could get some, if he gets the right funding. I think Philip will be under a lot of pressure in the Southeast, and then of course the North, my guy, Peter David, he's hammering in the North. He's got the North link up. So I think he's going to do great things over there. And just to let you know, just to remind you, over a year ago, I was saying that Peter David was going to have an impact on the NDC and the NNP. And you guys disagree. You say, oh, Perry, what are you talking about? But guess what? Professionals, not me anymore, professionals are now on board. Pollsters and analysts throughout the Caribbean are saying that Peter David is going to have a massive impact in the upcoming elections.
I said we got this late into the program before we could have even mentioned Peter David, and I'm thinking if that was the facts, he would have a lot more impact in this conversation.
No. As I told you, it's not me saying it anymore. I said it months ago. And I said, look, NDC and NNP better be careful because Peter David is coming for their food. And now the professionals, not me, I'm not the professional, the professional pollsters and the professional analysts, political analysts in the region are now saying that Peter David is getting major traction in Grenada. And locally, a very few trusted friends, and I value their opinion, is telling me exactly the same thing.
Okay.
So, as I said, this next election
Keep warm, man. Keep warm.
is going to be Armageddon-like. So be prepared. It's not going to be a time for weak hearts.
Yeah, Perry, stay warm, right? Stay warm.
All right.
I sure will.
Perry, thank you,
Take care,
guys.
Junior. All the best.
All the
Have
best.
fun on your date.
All
Kim,
right.
it's always a pleasure.
Thanks. All right, great.
Take care.
All right.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, guys. The conversation here, Perry and Ken Jones. Woo. Right Along Live is also brought to you by Spot Pay. Spot Pay, Spot Pay is just like a cash app. So you got Spot Pay in Grenada. So now when people owe you money, they can't say, oh, they don't have cash on them. No, just Spot Pay me. Try Spot Pay, download it in the App Store right now. It's all about Spot Pay. Right Along Live is also brought to you by RideGo. Yeah, RideGo. You need a taxi tonight or wherever you're going to hang out, whatever. RideGo will pick you up. Now, if you're in the US or in Canada or where have you, you could call a taxi for your family member, for your friend. Yeah, you don't have to be in Grenada to do it. Now you could call it from abroad. Yeah. Download RideGo in the App Store. Search RideGo, RYDEGO. Need a taxi? Tap the app.
Need a taxi? Download RideGo from the App Store. Tap the app.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
Yeah, guys, so do you have a business and you want to send your business viral, you want everybody to know about it, you want to advertise your business on Right Along Live with our primetime program, guys, everyone will know about your product or service. So don't waste no time. Advertise your business on Right Along Live. We have the most competitive rate, reach the largest audience, over 12 million people around the world. 12 million last month tuned into Right Along Live on this platform. So send your business viral, advertise on Right Along Live. All right? Just like the folks at JetBlue. Yeah, don't forget JetBlue. If you're coming to Grenada, you want to ride, you want to get down to Grenada, JetBlue has daily nonstop flight from JFK. Daily nonstop flight to JFK. Book online at jetblue.com. That's jetblue.com. Guys, also, you could book your ride, your e-bike ride, excursion or tour by checking out ride.gd. We also have a number of other excursions there. You can check out the ATV tour, the tuk-tuk tour, taxi tour, and excursion. Everything, ride.gd. And don't forget, guys, get your taxi, book your taxi tonight or any night, anytime, wherever you're going, book with RideGo. Download from the App Store right now and go. That's all. Also, do you know that you could watch Ride Along Live on your Fire TV? Yeah. If you have a Fire TV, you could download the Ride Along Live app on your Fire TV, and you could watch us live on Fire TV. Easy, easy, easy. Thousands of people watch us right now on the TV. Big up everyone watching us on the big screen. Yeah, man. Ride Along Live. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program here at Ride Along Live. Don't forget that we have a full lineup of programming for you this week. We thank you for joining, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being a part of this program here, Ride Along Live. On behalf of all of our production team here, our senior executive producer, Lois JJ, and everyone at Team Ride Along Live, we say good night. See you again tomorrow. Mañana.
Need a taxi? Download Ride Go from the App Store. Tap the app.